Welcome to Let's Go Live. I'm Gigi Mar, and I have with me crime fiction author Alphonso Williams Jr. Welcome, Alphonso. I'm so glad to have you with me.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Okay, we have so much to cover because you have such a diverse and interesting background. So we'll start off. I just don't even know where to start. I'm so excited to talk to you. Probably at the beginning. So you didn't always start off as a crime fiction author. So tell us your first career.
So, my first career and still my current career is I'm an assistant special agent in charge of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, state police for the state of Florida. So, I started my career off in the military for a
That's
couple of
where to
years.
start. Yes.
Yes, for a couple of years. As soon as I transitioned from the military, 3 months later, I was in a police academy here in the state of Florida. Yes. So I was a very young police officer starting out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, one, thank you for your service to our country. That is such an honorable thing. And I know it's a very difficult thing, especially with all the conflicts that we have going on, obviously, now. But what made you join the military in the first place and then go into law enforcement?
So I was still young. I was a father at a young age. And
Mhm.
so I was still young and needed some life experience, needed some growth, and some stability. And so I went into the military, and that's the best decision I ever made. My wife and I, at the time, we were very young parents. And so we went into the military, stayed there for 3 years, learned a lot, saw a lot, and definitely took advantage of the resources and the benefits that came with that.
Yeah, I wish we could do more for veterans and those in the service, but hopefully that'll be coming soon. But I understand that's one thing it does provide because have a military background. My family's a military background. A lot of the boys have gone through the military. And yeah, they'll raise you quick. If your dad didn't raise you, the military will raise you.
Yes.
But also the benefits and the stability are, if you're young, like you said, a young father, a young family, it's phenomenal.
Yes, it definitely opened up a lot of doors.
Hmm. So you did your service, you get out, and I'd imagine it's kind of an easier transition to go into law enforcement because you've defended your country. Now you can defend a different jurisdiction, so to speak.
Yes, so my mindset and maturity was totally different prior to going into the military. So once I completed my service, I got out and I saw the world totally different. And I wanted to give back to my community. And so that's why I went into law enforcement. Like I said, 3, 4 months after my discharge from the military, I started the police academy.
How old were you at the time?
22?
Oh my gosh, you're a baby.
Yes, 22. Yeah, I was barely old enough to buy bullets.
So I know this is not a thing, but did you get teased or treated differently because you're the baby?
Not really, because one thing about law enforcement, it's a strong brotherhood, and especially coming from the military, there's a sense of camaraderie. And majority of police officers that I encountered had that former military background.
Oh, from going from one brotherhood to another.
Yes, very strong camaraderie.
That's nice. So your title now is about this long. So maybe you could tell us what does that mean? I actually restate your title and then what does that mean day to day?
All right, so my current title now is I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for Florida Department of Law Enforcement in the Orlando region. So I
Hmm.
work for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Orlando region is comprised of 9 counties within the Central Florida area.
Larger than
So yeah, so I'm the number two in charge of those 9 counties.
oh wow.
Yeah, so we got Orlando, Disney World, Orange County, several big counties within our region.
Big active tourism, you name it, you guys got it covered. But you didn't start there. So how long you would start, I guess, would it be patrol? Is that where everybody starts?
Yeah, so I started my career off on patrol. I was on patrol for approximately maybe 2.5 years, and I became a field training officer where I was able to train new recruits, new rookie police officers. So I did pretty well with that. And 2 years after that, I became a detective. I was promoted to detective with that current agency. Yes.
So you have a very heartbreaking reason for becoming a detective. And I don't know if you want to share that here. I know it is on the back of your books, but
Yes.
feel comfortable discussing that. I know those that are watching and listening would be interested to hear how you made, beauty for your ashes.
Yes. So my older sister, LaQuetta Williams, she and I were very, very close. And when I was on the road as a patrol officer, like my second, third year, uh, she and I would always converse back and forth over the phone when
Oh,
I was doing my shift, just constantly talking.
nice.
And it was maybe like 2 months prior to Thanksgiving. She lived in Atlanta. She was gonna come to Orlando and visit the family. And so Thanksgiving Day, I was called back into my watch commander office. Um, I'm like, whoa, why he's calling me into the office?
On a holiday too.
Yeah, so you're thinking, oh, what did I do now?
Oh, you're thinking you're in trouble.
Yes. So I never forget that. And went to the office. He asked me to sit down. And then when I saw the expression on his face, I'm like, okay, what happened? And he asked me, do you know LaQuetta Williams? I said, yes, that's my sister.
How do you know her?
Yes, so you
How do
just
you
thinking,
know
I
her?
said, where
Yeah.
are we going with this?
Hmm.
And then he told me the devastating news that really shook me to my core that she was murdered in Atlanta, and it was it was very difficult because we had to go and notify my mother
Oh my God.
that her daughter was killed, and so my
Eh,
lieutenant drove me to my mom's house, and we had to notify my parents of what occurred.
that has got to be, not only does it a gut punch and just takes your breath away for you, but then to have to process that and go to your parents and communicate that. I mean, that's got to be one of the worst things you've been through.
Uh, it's something that you don't wish upon anyone, not even your enemy. But it really shook me and added another log to the fire, that desire and that motivation to render justice to the voiceless. And that's something that I have been doing for over the past 20 some years, relentless, just bringing justice to the voiceless. And I use that as a source of motivation. And even sometimes when you're tired, I can hear my sister voice. You better get up. You got to keep going. And so I have that. That's just been my source of motivation, along with my family, throughout my career. Um, just overachiever because I refuse to just rest. I just keep going, and so that's why I'm in a position that I am now. Just working, put your best foot forward, and keep striving.
Um, I think that's so compassionate because you said you're giving of justice for the voiceless, and that's exactly what it is, right? And I think you've probably seen some of the most horrific things done to human mankind that we can do to each other.
Yes. Oh, I have within my career. I've probably been involved in over maybe 450 homicides throughout my entire career. Yes.
That number is just tragically staggering.
Yes, it is, but I truly believe that there's totally more good people than bad people in this world, and as we continue to go forward, that is my outlook, that the good will always outweigh the bad, and blessed be the peacemakers, because they out there every day to try to make the world a better place.
100%. All of our law enforcement or first responders, that give. So they just sacrifice themselves for the greater good, which is just unbelievable. Unsung heroes, in my opinion.
Yes.
So you say you feel her with you, though.
Yes, everywhere I go.
That's good.
Back then, some days it was tough, because I was at that position that it was hard for me to grieve, because you got so much bitterness and you want justice, and the person that was responsible, he was apprehended and he was convicted. Um,
Good.
but what my mindset back then was, you got a person that had a lot of full of life and had a lot of values and a lot of stuff left to give back. And so that's why I feel as though that she is with me and I'm living my life for the both of us, because she always had charity of the heart and always had a empathy and a heart, for people.
That's beautiful because it's like having a responsibility to live fully for her.
Yes, absolutely.
You have that opportunity.
Yes. And I think when I look back now, I'm like, well, I know she's proud because
Oh.
we have accomplished a lot and did a lot and rendered a lot of justice to families.
So let me ask you this. How do you, because you've seen so much, you said almost 500 homicides in your career, do you use your writing to be cathartic? Because it's the worst thing that a human can see, and you're seeing it on such a repetitive basis.
Yeah,
And
so
you're so
writing is
positive, Alfonso. You're so positive and uplifting and have a servant heart. It just comes right on through. And I'm amazed that the bitterness and anger and the injustice hasn't taken over your life.
I saw just by being in law enforcement what bitterness can do to a person. And if you hold on to that, so you got to channel that, turn it into positive energy. I have a very strong support system. My wife, she's a psychiatric nurse practitioner. My degree is psychology. And
Oh, wow.
so I always been fascinated with the human mind, the way the human mind
Mhm.
works. And so, but writing has always been a part of me. Um, I was able, the goal was once my kids got older, got into college, I was able to spend more time towards my writings. And just based on that, it was just the right, everything in life is based on timing. And
Yeah.
so it was the right time at that point where I can go ahead and put my stories, put pen to paper and start writing my stories.
Well, I'd imagine because you have a responsibility to the family that you created and you're raising, and also your mama, and then this, legacy of your sister. So it's kind of a lot of responsibility on you every single day. Then you're also trying to do your best, do right by all your victims and their families, and then get promoted, raise a family. I don't know how you have, and you must not sleep.
I do now. Especially now, we able. But like I said, I got a very support team. My wife, my best friend, Anquinette, and we have been together since high school.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so we've been together forever, and so she just my pride and joy. I look forward to date night, coming home. We sit and talk and take trips. So I definitely look forward to having that strong backbone to be there for me.
Oh my gosh, I love hearing that because sometimes you run into couples that have been married long term and you're like, whoo, why are they still together? But I love hearing you're like, she's the love of my life. She's, completes me. It's so great to hear that after all those years you've been together,
And what I was, what's funny is we were completely opposite.
that you grew together.
Uh, yeah, just like growing up, we was completely opposite. But that thing that they call compromising. If you truly love someone, you compromise. And you fast forward to now time, we have so much in common. When it comes to sports, when it comes to traveling, when it comes to family. Now we don't agree on the same television shows.
Uh, yeah, we don't have to do everything together all the time.
Yes, exactly.
But that has to be some interesting dinner conversation if you both have studied the mind.
Oh yeah, she's far more advanced with that. She definitely sits on another level. But just to have those conversations, and we talk about a lot, especially coming home, and I'm to the point now where I really don't bring work at home. When I get in my truck on my way home, I can turn it off.
Wow.
Um,
That's how
and,
well
and I
trained
the
is.
analogy that I use is I like my job, but where I'm at now, I love my personal life.
Yes, yes, the balance
Yes.
you finally have.
Yes.
Well, is it because you guys are empty nesters? Are the kids both in college?
No, so the kids, my only son, he's in the military. So
Oh,
he went into the
oh, yeah.
army.
Hmm.
Yes, and he has a son, so I have a grandson. He's 3, Ashton, and so he's the pride and joy of the family.
Hmm. As he should.
Yes.
Grandbabies are the best, as he should be the pride and joy.
Oh, they are great because you know what? They can stay and then when they get to that point, it's time to go home.
Well, I do. I went to my nephew's birthday party, my great nephew, and he's 4. And my niece has 4 boys under, she's 30, and she has 4 little boys. That's
Whoa.
how I want it to be. But I tell you that parenting is for the youth. Having babies is for the youth. I was like, whoa, I need some caffeine because these 4 boys are crazy and wild. And she's like, yeah, it's great. But to your point, you love that little 3-year-old, but you're like, he needs to go home now because I need a break.
Yes, my wife and I we sit there like, "Fool, that is a," because my youngest is 27, and so my wife and I is like, "Whoa, we don't have the energy for that," because you get accustomed to doing your own thing, and so when you got a toddler running around and just grabbing stuff and throwing stuff, it's beautiful, but it tires you. It could definitely wear you out.
100%. They eat next to nothing and they have the energy like an Energizer bunny. Like they never stop. And you're like, where does this come from?
Especially when it's time to go to sleep. It's like 12, 1 o'clock. I'm tired. And
They
so
don't
he
even,
he's still going. Absolutely, he's still going.
you're like, hey, lock the doors, close out the lights when you're done.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like you have a beautiful, beautiful family. So let's talk books.
Yes.
You have a trilogy, I saw on your website. And so tell us about the first one. And actually, you said that you've always written. Why did you go from writing from pleasure to writing for publishing?
It was something that I can honor my sister.
Mm.
And so when you look at my books, even Chosen by Fate is the series. Um, maybe 25, 30% of that is my life. And so when you read that, when you look at the character Thaddeus Carter, it mimics a lot of my life and even some of the characters in the book. You'll get a snapshot of my life growing up.
Okay, so take us through the synopsis of the trilogy, but don't give any spoilers away.
Okay, so I start with the first, Chosen by Fate. The life of Thaddeus Carter is basically about a youth growing up in the inner city.
Mhm.
Um, Never really had a role model. He had to learn a lot of things on his own in life. He had to grow up really fast. And so we're able to introduce all the characters, his mom, his father, his sisters. And so life was his teacher. He had to learn a lot. Also had the passion to be a police officer. And so through adversity, he learned something, but it made him a lot better.
Well, and don't you think that is reflective of some of the, you're in Orlando, you said it's 9 counties. It's reflective of the children that you probably come across as well.
Oh, yes. I come across a lot. Not now where I'm at now. I'm so far removed
Mm, yeah.
from the streets because I supervise supervisors. But it takes me back to when I was on the road, when I encountered a lot of youth headed in the wrong direction. But I always been that mouthpiece to try to encourage and try to redirect on that straight and narrow. I learned, and in the beginning, it was kind of difficult because when you saw, it's like a movie you already saw before, and you already know how the ending is gonna be. And
Oh,
so,
because you, is it like statistically this at-risk group, you know they're going to be like in prison or killed, or is that what you're saying?
yeah, so I'm a numbers man, and I love I go numbers don't lie.
Yeah, let's do facts. Let's do numbers.
Yeah, let's do facts. So I'm a realist at the end of the day, and numbers does not lie. And
Okay.
so when I look at individuals that's in the inner city, that came from a unstable background, you can kind of see the path. And without intervention or without that individual willing to change and want to change, it's not going to be good at the end of the day. The outcome will not be positive.
Alfonso, how I am in Houston and I live inner city, fourth largest city in the nation. You know, our crime rates are staggering. They're on the rise, murders on the rise, etc. So I kind of relate to exactly what you're saying in one regard, but the other is like, who would be a role model for these kids? Because if some of it has to be their will or desire to change their situation, but you don't know what you don't know, and if it doesn't come through a pastor or the church, who would be their role model other than like you guys coming in as law enforcement?
It has to start at home. And so when you look at mentoring, and I mentored, I'm part of the Central Florida Urban League.
Hmm.
But when you look at mentoring, the reason why mentoring is not really successful is because you do, or the mentor does not have that time to spend with that child 24/7, because that mentor has other things going on in life, other
Correct.
responsibilities.
Their life.
And so, whatever you try to instill, that has to be exercised consistently on the home front. So,
Mm.
if I spend, let's say, 10 hours a week with you, if you don't have no one reinforcing what you instilled or those values, it's going to be lost. So, it's like you started back all over from square one when you meet up with that individual.
And that's got to be challenging because I'm thinking if you have some of the challenges are the violence, the gangs, the drugs, etc. And if that's in your household, you're swimming upstream. You know, you're going against. Sorry, did I freeze just then?
Yeah, but you're good now.
Okay. So I'd imagine that's got to be hard because, you know, like you're saying, you can come in and you're really like a snapshot in time. And at a 24-hour period, if they're living in all this kind of violence and all this bad influences, it would be hard. I guess there could be like also like the schools, the coaches.
And the coaches are, I think, at the end of the day, what reality tells me is that, Alfonso, we're not going to save everybody. And so once I came to accepting that I can't save everybody,
Mhm.
I started going based on the notion of, if I can save one, then that person can in turns turn around and save many more. So my expectations, I had to lower my expectations
Yeah.
when it comes to that. Because when you look at juvenile crimes now, it is on the rise. It is ridiculous. And it's getting worse.
What is that?
Violent crimes.
What is that attributed to? Because we're seeing that here. I mean, they're young. You know, they'll be 15, 16, but they're treated like an adult here because they're very adult violent crimes.
Exactly. I think it goes back to, if you want to do right, you'll do right.
Yeah. What's
And
in
I
your heart?
think it boils down to, right from wrong. And
Mhm.
so if you choose to do wrong, you understand there's consequences for your action. But I think that they are committing crimes and not thinking about the consequences
Oh, yeah.
until it's over and you're caught and you sit in a courtroom asking for mercy, but your crime was so heinous that you score out. You know, a lot of juveniles are being charged as an adults
Worse than
based on the seriousness of their crimes. Because one thing about a violent crime, murder, unfortunately, you can't go back and undo that.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're victims, right? Innocent victims. So you're right. It's hard to have sympathy for them, and that defense only goes so far.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you said your character is based on you, is it based on your personal history? Or is it also some of that that you're encountering when you are on patrol, when you are with your supervisors, when you are in your role today? Is it just like a big mix of everything together?
Yes. So it's a combination of some of the things I went through, some of the things that I experienced, and that's what make it really easy to write. When you lived it, when you're passionate about it. Um,
Well, you're the subject matter expert, really.
and that's what brings it that real authenticity
Yes.
because you're writing it from from your perspective, what these eyes have saw, heard, and it's over 20 some years of experience, even longer if you add in the military, and factor in life itself as an adolescent growing up. You've seen so much, and you use that. Um, in your writings. I just love stories within stories. And when you go into the first book, it's stories within stories.
Oh, I love that. Give me a ton of plot lines. Now, sometimes when I read these fantasy books, they have so many plot lines. I'm like, what happened? What are those? But I love that because, and I think readers do too. They want Easter eggs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they want to be able to tie it all together. So, Thaddeus is it one crime per book, or is it one long story from across told across all three books?
So Thaddeus started out as a youth. And so he's going through life, and he have the desire of becoming a police officer. And so once you go from one to two, it's a long continuation because he's maturing as a police officer. He's going through the ranks. But he's motivated by certain things. He have seen so much bad where it's hard for him to allow that. Sometimes he go down rabbit holes that he shouldn't.
Like people
Uh,
do, like people do.
yeah, he choose those rabbit holes, and so it's just with that is he cannot unhear. He's willing to make he wants his community to be safe. And he saw so much and so much foolishness going around. He want to be part of the change. And so when you get into one and two, three is very, very unique. Where I actually took a trip into South America. I got some police friends where I had to learn a little bit more about cartels.
Oh my God.
And so I was able to use some of that information to plug it into book three.
Well, Florida and Texas, unfortunately, those are big. And so it to me, that's a whole nother level of frightening.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So on book one and two, was it easier, I guess, did it come really more naturally to you to write the good guy? Or was it a little bit fun when you had to write about the bad guys?
Um, the first book is always difficult, right? Because you want to put you the first book is always difficult because you're trying to figure out how much to put in it
Oh.
because you're not thinking about well I can get a part two into it. But I think what made the first book manageable was that I had a plan that I wanted to do three books. Now I'm looking at probably doing four because I want to end that series. I want to get into the real, I want to get into books on leaderships, and I have one called Beyond the Badge: Lessons in Leadership and Legacy. So I want to get into some of the, some of
Not
the nonfiction stuff. But I'm so, caught up with that is, but I know you have to, it has to come to an end. But writing about the bad, like I say, I'm big in psychology, the human mind. So it's somewhat kind of, I would never say it's easy, um, but to me, it's a little bit manageable when I'm writing about bad guys because I experience so many bad guys on the streets, and I interviewed so many bad guys. When you try to get into their head
Hmm.
and try to figure out why do they do the things, and half the times they can't even tell you the reason why they did it. But
Which is shocking because I feel all humans, doesn't matter where in the world you're at, the human brain wants answers. We want to be able to like ask the question, if there's a crime we want to solve, we want to know why and what was the motivation. We're always seeking answers to have a conclusion. And so when you say that some of these bad guys, they don't know why, it's unsettling. And I'd
yeah,
imagine you have to use a lot of your psychology your degree to figure out what is their motivation. What in the world? If they don't know why, I have to figure out why.
exactly. Half of the times they can't tell you why, and if they do, uh, half truth, half not.
Oh,
And so and as the saying go, there's none new under the sun. I'm sure a lot of this was going on way before I put on the uniform, but
mm-hmm.
it's troublous. It's number one, it's selfish. It's definitely selfish, and when you take it upon yourself to take somebody's life because you feel as though that person needs to die, it's you'll never be able to wrap your head around it. Like that is a senseless killing, and nah, it's if anyone can come up with why people harm people and try to do a case study on and come up with the right answer, I pay $1 million to sit in on that and be a part of that. Because they can never tell you why, and unfortunately, as humans, we try to look for closure, but you're
Always.
not going to get the closure that you want, especially coming from someone who was at fault.
Well, how many shows do we have, like Criminal Minds and The Criminologist, and we always want to like dive deep in all these people and why do they do the bad things that they do? Because you're right, we want answers, we want closure. So
Yeah.
I've heard with other like more thriller or mystery writers, they like writing the bad guys just because sometimes the good guy is a little too boring. And so I thought, with your vast experience, a number of years, I want to ask that question.
Um. Honestly, like I say, by me just being a good guy,
Mm.
nature, I'm just a good-hearted spiritual guy. I'm a good guy. Um. It's easy for me to write the good guy because
The hero.
I have values.
Yes.
Bad guys, I experienced so many and I've seen so many. Um, it's good to be able to put that little spin on it when
Hmm.
let's say you investigated serial killers. The
Yeah.
reason why serial killers do the things that they do, when you go into the psychology of it, like I said, I'm fascinated with the human brain. I'm fascinated with the human mind. I always say that I possess that ability when I'm dealing with my agents or detectives, that I can take people from different personalities, different walks of life, and I can make them mash as one because
Mm.
you keep it to work and you keep it to the teamwork approach and the mission itself. Personality conflicts, that's gonna happen, but as long as you keep your mind on the main focus, and I've always been successful with that, with managing people. You got to
Well,
have empathy. You got to cater to their needs. I get on some of the supervisors that life is difficult itself, and so we're not robots where when we have personal issues going on at our home, we cannot step into the office and think that those issues are going to go away. No, we have to help. We're responsible as true leaders, helping that individual overcome what they going through. And so once we can help them with that, they can come to work. It can be a healthy working environment, and then work productivity will increase.
Well, and I'd imagine too that your experience and your degree and everything you've been through helps them with trauma. Because there has to be some cases that your people come across, down the chain that are truly heinous, that are truly disturbing. And so I feel like you're the perfect person to be able to help them sort through all that trauma.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be you have to have a kind heart. You have to possess empathy. You got to understand emotional intelligence. That is real. Because without that, you're not going to be successful. Not trying to lead people. People will not follow you if you don't possess that emotional intelligence. And I worked for people before. One thing I learned, what really shaped my leadership is I had leaders that were managers,
Mm-hmm.
and I had good leaders. And so you take the good and your bad, right? Because you learn that, and then I learned what not to do based on some of the bad leaders. Or you know what? I don't even like to call leaders. I don't like to call managers leaders. I just call them managers because I think it's a disservice to the term leadership.
No, you're exactly right. Sometimes we get examples of how not to be versus positive examples that we want to lead with.
Absolutely. A saying that I always say is, last time I checked, it don't cost a thing to treat people with kindness, right? That's still free.
That's cute. I love that. So, Thaddeus has 3 books already out. Are you going to write the fourth one?
I'm
Or,
pondering on it. I have some ideas for the fourth one. Um, I have time, and so I'm pondering on it. Maybe 70% that I will, because I really, really, I'm itching to get into the nonfiction. Um,
well, let
but
me
I
ask,
believe
do your readers know there's a fourth book, or can you pivot to do your nonfiction?
that's a
Because
good idea
like,
because I did think about giving, if I decide to do a fourth book, give it a break, and then I can go into the nonfiction. But the issue I'm having with Beyond the Badge is my story is still going. I'm still fairly young, and so there's still more things, more goals that I want to accomplish within this law enforcement space.
yes,
um, when I'm talking about legacy, legacy is still going. It's not stop. And so but I have some ideas. I got some plans um, that some projects I want to get accomplished.
something brewing. But what I've heard is me, just in my experience, when I talk to other authors, is when you are trying to just force a book, it just doesn't flow and it kind of comes out forced. But when you follow the creative flow as to where it wants to go, which is your nonfiction side, I feel like your writing will be better. And then maybe you'll
Yes,
get back to Thaddeus and you'll be like, piece of cake. I have it all in my mind. I have it all not written, but it's all formulated in my mind.
exactly. No, I totally agree. Taking a break from it, going into something that's realistic, real,
Like a
and then
chapter.
circling back and probably put a final one for Thaddeus. Go ahead and put Thaddeus to rest.
He'll be a happy retired detective. So
Yes.
you had mentioned though leadership. So what would your nonfiction writing and career look like then?
um, I would like to consider myself a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a not think, but I know I'm a proven leader. I have
Like it.
led many people, and a lot of people that I led are supervisors. Many are supervisors. I was on a squad where I had like 8 people, and I end up losing five to promotions. Um, and so I have so much to write about the leadership that is within me, and it's proven leadership. It's not something that you get from a book or something that you read online. It's
No, I
something based
love
on
it.
life experience.
You're a fisherman of men, it sounds like,
Oh yes, I love people. I believe in people.
which is so beautiful. And who best to write nonfiction when you really have that outlook? Because I feel like it just flows through the words and people can read the messaging through the lines.
Yes, absolutely. I just love people because I love our country. I love people. I don't think that nothing is a final product, but I think I think if you can be part of the plan, part of the process where you leading people, that's what brings me satisfaction when I see someone being blessed, someone winning, someone accomplishing, achieving something. That brings satisfaction to me, knowing that man, that person did it.
Well, and also you're critical because if critical to their development because it sounds like you love to develop people. You love
Yes,
voted around you.
yes, absolutely.
And that in and of itself is a good characteristic because there is many managers, as you say, they don't want people breathing down their back ready for their job, right? They want to keep them down or pigeonhole them in theirs because that's easier for them. It makes their life easier if they can just keep all their managers where they're at and never have to worry about development. Development to me is the harder thing because you're having to continue to promote and then refill that position and then develop them again.
I always tell my agents and I tell my analysts, I said, listen, you need to mentor someone to be your replacement because the
Ooh,
reality of it is we're not going to be here forever. And so
how does
I
that
had
go over
a
though?
old mentor that sat in the he was a state senator. And
Wow.
he asked me a long time ago, this was when I started doing mentoring. He asked me, what profits you? How could a person sit and rest knowing that you are here, but you don't do anything to bring the next person up or help develop the next person? And so that's always stood with me. And I'm going back maybe 15 years ago when I heard this gem from that mentor, and so that always stuck with me. It's like,
Great
and
advice.
that's why I said it brings that satisfaction knowing that you're helping develop the next generation because we're not going to live. Unfortunately, we're not going to live forever. That's the reality.
Well, you've had such a long career. I'm assuming that you'd want to retire within the next 10, 15 years anyway, or you'll be ready for retirement, right? Qualify, I think.
Oh yeah, I can go. I started so young. I got promoted so early throughout my career. I constantly got promoted. And so where I'm at now, and that was one of the conversations that I had with my colleague today was like, how long do you have left? Because I'm still young. It's hard for me to sit. I remember when I was homesick, it killed me because uh, I just constantly I got to be doing something. I got to keep moving.
Well,
Uh,
you're a provider and a protector, so it makes sense. You just can't sit at home in a rocking chair looking at the cars go by.
no, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind. But what brings satisfaction? I love to travel. I love to go out of the country. So that definitely brings satisfaction. So we got a couple trips coming up where I need that break.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you do
Yes.
every break you get.
Yes, looking forward to it.
So on the nonfiction, do you have different topics that like would there be multiple books? How many books do you have in you? Do you think just top of mind thoughts?
So I have a couple. I wanted to write one on serial killers,
Oh,
the mind of a killer, and use the psychology aspect of it. I wanted to write some on basic investigations. I know the general public, they look at these crime shows and they're solving cases within 60 minutes, right?
well,
You
I mean,
used to.
Dateline is in its 30 something year season. You know what I mean? Dateline.
Yes.
And then you have all these, I guess Facebook has these detective groups that, like, on cold cases, they'll upload the stuff, and like you'll have these, what they call them, like not armchair quarterbacks, but it's almost like armchair detective trying to help out these underfunded police departments to solve these crimes. I kind of like that though.
And so that's what's so unique. When I go back to the agency that I work for, the state agency, and when I talk about we have oversee 9 counties, we
Mhm.
have over 86 law enforcement agencies within those 9 counties. And
Wild.
so we provide a lot of resources, investigative resources,
Yeah.
forensic resources to a lot of the municipalities that don't have those resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the good thing about our agency that we look at it as one because work for the state of Florida. So your victim is my victim. The whole state is ours.
Well, and that's what the families want.
Yes,
No
absolutely.
whole case. Nobody wants it to go like unconvicted. Yeah, that's what they want. And so I love that they have all these resources at the state level.
Oh yes, I always tell my supervisors, my agents, never tell an agency no. We gonna work this thing out. We're gonna figure out, but never say no. Never say no.
Yeah. It's like here in Texas, when they call in the Texas Rangers, you know it's going to be solved.
Yes, yes.
HPD, Harris. Anyway, we won't, talk, we won't call out names. Okay, so fascinating. If you wrote a serial killer nonfiction, would it be based upon one, or would it be a compilation so you have a variety of the study of the human mind?
It'll be a variety. When I was a agent before I got promoted, I was the case agent over the post terrorist attack we had in Orlando with Omar Mateen.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I was the case agent for that case. I oversaw that investigation,
Oh my gosh.
where
Thank
he killed over 50, and I think he killed 50 and wounded 49. I
Huge,
was
huge investigation.
yes. Well, that was a long one. So I dealt with so many. You saw so many, and so when I say that I'm fascinated with the human mind, even sitting down and interviewing and talking to individuals that committed murder, and listening to them. And unfortunately, as a detective, your main objective is to solve the case,
Yeah.
and so sometimes you got to go down to their level to get them to talk. Because I can't talk to them like I'm talking to you. You have to go down to where they at,
Do you
to get them to
know
talk.
when you're sitting across the table, I'm assuming, all I know is television, where they're chained to the table or something like that. But do you know what kind of mind you're dealing with within the first so many questions or so many minutes, or maybe you're taking over for someone who already tried? Do
Oh,
you
I
kind
already
of
know.
feel
I size everybody up.
like,
So I'm good with personalities.
oh, okay.
I know if you're emotional. I know if you're not. So I'm very good. I think that's just with me. That's just probably being a cop for so many years in psychology. As soon as I'm talking to a person, I can figure out what your personality trait is,
Well, it's
and I know what type of tactic that I need to use to converse with you.
that's fascinating because I also think with that particular attack, wasn't there like a religious subtext or a religious, when you have these like the word like jihadist, a lot of it is where they feel 100% right in their actions because it's honoring their religion or their religious
Yes.
beliefs, I should say.
Yes, they think they doing the will of whoever they worship.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would imagine that's got to be really difficult because you see things from a different lens.
I do. I definitely see it from a different lens. I also I always tell people whatever you believe in is what you believe in. Don't try to force what you believe in on what I believe in. And
Correct.
so I respect that. But when you out there harming people, that's all the respect goes out the window. When you using your religion to harm someone or victimize, that's
Yeah,
a problem. That totally contradict what I believe in.
100%. I mean, that's, the whole basis of 9/11. And so
Yes.
it's got to just be really hard to sit across a table when they're doing it and feeling 100% right because it's within their religious beliefs, like you said, who they worship at the time. That's got to be challenging
It
because
is because that's nothing when you're dealing with someone like that when it's based on political factors or religion base, there's nothing you can do to convince them that they are wrong.
correct. Yeah.
You can't. There's nothing you can do, especially when you're talking to like sociopathic people and psychopathic. There's nothing you can do to convince that person that it's always everybody else's fault. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
And so those are the difficult. Now they are taught they're very prideful in what they do and what they did. They will talk to you,
Oh,
uh, but
I,
you'll never be able to get them to s- see what's right and what they did or apologetic for what they did.
you'll,
That's not going to happen based on my experience.
so you can only get so far into their mind before you just hit that barrier, political or religious, and then that's just it.
Yeah, exactly. Like sociopathic people, they don't have empathy, and
Yeah.
so that person deserve it, and they just don't have empathy. And you can go back; their soul is very dark, and
Yeah.
so you can look in their eyes and just yeah.
So you took a trip to South America to learn more. Would you write a book on the cartels and that activity because that is just such a scary topic and how
Well,
how law enforcement because I'd imagine, you know, Florida, y'all see it. We see it here in Texas.
so what I did was I was able to get a basis, and so when you get into like book three,
Hmm.
you will see some of the things about cartels, about crime bosses, the mob. And so it took me probably it took some years for this third book because I wanted to do the research and you want to make it as authentic as it can be. And
You're right.
so I definitely had to sacrifice time in research to make sure I put out a good product.
But would you flip it and you wrote it into Thaddeus's story? Would you flip it and write it into your nonfiction? Would you from take it from a law enforcement angle for nonfiction?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
You're
I
like,
definitely.
another idea. Let me write that down.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I like that
Well,
because, as you mentioned, people like to read the bad guy, the villain.
we do. It's like, when that's why there's rubbernecking, right? There's a
Yes.
horrible accident and everybody wants to look. There's that, curiosity. And it's also why, like, okay, the History Channel has even done mob history, documentaries. So obviously there's a audience for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And I think as horrifying and scary and just heartbreaking as it is, people still want to know. And I think too, from law enforcement, if you have children or grandchildren or nieces and nephews, you want to know like how can I protect them or how almost like a parenting book. How do I keep everybody safe?
Yes.
Because it's no
Exactly.
longer like, oh, we'll just pick you up at the mall. It's coming in through cyber, and that's where parents can't always have control over that.
Absolutely. When it's funny you mentioned that. I used to oversee our cyber unit,
Oh, wow.
where we were arresting pedophiles and um, if you had the resource, you can probably arrest like five every single day with the right resources. Some of the worst of the worst. So you have to be on your p's and q's as a parent to protect your child, especially when it comes to like internet, comes to like social media platforms. You have to keep a watchful eye because I see so much where uh, kids not knowing, thinking that they're conversing back and forth with someone their age and it's someone grown with malicious intent. Yeah.
And I know in Houston here, they ran an article about how even uh, teenage women, let's say 19, maybe like 19, 20 women are used, they're baiting younger teenage boys.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And so I was so shocked because I thought, we only think it's like the females, that are trafficked. But it's almost 50-50 is what this report said. And I thought, what? And I had no idea that you'd have other victims recruiting other victims.
We see there are some documented cases going on here in the state of Florida where see a lot of teachers that we saw on the rise, like
What?
female teachers having relationships with juveniles, males. Yeah, that's it's a seem like it's on the rise. It seems like it's part of the norm now, and I hate to use that part of the norm because I'm seeing it so frequently now, where teachers are engaging in those acts with their students.
And I'm either naive or old school. I don't even know the right word, but I don't usually look at female teachers as predators.
No, no,
I mean,
because the numbers are still very low compared to like men,
yeah.
predators. But I am seeing more than before with
Why?
female predators.
What's the common theme? Like, why is there an uptick in females? I feel like, let's be honest, Alfonso, females can go to the right bar, go out to dinner. Females get enough male attraction. Why are they seeking it from their students?
I think they're just predators. I think that's the only. When
Ah,
you're fixated on children, there's no rehabilitation for a predator. There's no rehabilitation. They always reoffend, always reoffend. Where there's a disconnect, there's a chemical imbalance where they always reoffend. Always, especially predators. They are the worst of the worst, and they always reoffend. That's why a lot of them go to prison for a long, long time because you have to protect the children. Because they're going to get out, they will reoffend. When you start looking at the numbers and the research on it, always reoffend.
that is so sad because it's just heartbreaking because one, it's way too common. Two, you're victimizing them twice, the act, and then you have to wait how many ever, months or years to go back on the stand, testify against them, and then you have to relive it all over again when you've already been on your journey for healing. And I'm thinking, like, aren't we putting someone's rights a little bit higher than the other person? Like, I feel like the victim's rights gets diminished over the predator's rights, and it drives me crazy.
A lot of the predators, a lot of them don't take it to trial. And some of the judges don't want the jury to have to watch some of that or listen to that. Unfortunately, you can't unsee or undo things, right? And so at least probably over 90% will plea out. Um, be, they'll plea out because judges don't want that to go before judge. Granted, it's your right now. If you want to take it to trial, you have no choice. But a lot of them do plea out with a plea deal or something like that.
That makes sense. And so then if they plea out, it's going to be as long of a sentence as they can get on a plea deal versus going to a jury trial.
Oh yeah, like, they still going to. Well, I think there's a difference between. Well, to me, it's not really a big difference. Life and 80 years.
Oh,
You
I
know, and when you talk with a lot of guys, that's actually and see the thing about the state of Florida, there's no parole system, and so life means life. You can go to jail for second degree murder. That's still a life sentence because we don't have the parole. We don't. The state of Florida does not have a parole system. So whenever someone get life, many other states, life is like 25 years. You sentence to life.
We have,
Where you got to do at least 25, 30 years before you go before a parole system. State of Florida has no parole system, so life means life.
wow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have parole, and that's what right now we're battling all these low bonds. There was this young sheriff who was murdered, killed, and the Harris County lowered his bond, and he's out. Capital murder of a law enforcement officer. He bonded out. So when I talk about the criticism of Houston and the Harris County, that's what we have. There's well documented in the newspapers all these low bonds.
Well, state of Florida is a law and order state. You would not murder. You're not getting a bond.
We
No
have
way.
tons of murderers that bond out.
Well,
Accused murders, I should say.
yeah,
But that one,
accused, but
but that one, when he killed a Harris County sheriff, he was bonded out by a Harris County judge. What is happening?
is he still a judge?
Unfortunately, yes, there are lots of those.
Whoa.
I know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so,
disheartening.
so here in Texas, parole means, that yeah, they can get out and they get the time for good behavior as well. So I guess y'all don't have that either.
No, life is life. There is
25
life.
years is 20 years. 15 years is that's it.
Yeah, state of Florida, life is life. There's no parole system whatsoever. Second
Fascinating.
degree, there's really second degree, first degree, life is life, and that's why a lot. You talk to some inmates that's in jail. They like to see that they have a end date, rather that be they rather get 80 years than life. At least they know, to them, I'm not sure if it's some type of satisfaction in the mind that there is a end date as opposed to
Oh,
life. Life is you will die in prison. Yes.
wow. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So interesting. I just feel like you need an assistant. You need to just somehow download your brain to where you can write all these books because I can't imagine how much you have in there, how many stories, how much just experience, expertise, everything you've seen. It's so impressive.
Yes, I love, like I said, I love stories. I love, but what's interesting is I really don't have any law enforcement friends. My wife and I, we have
No?
our best friends are a married couple, Chris and Kim Bacole, which they have been our best friends ever since we were in our 20s. So we do everything together. But when it comes to like law enforcement friends, I have maybe one. The rest I consider colleagues or associates. But when I'm off, I turn it off. We don't even talk about law. We just talk about life. Life is precious, right? And so we talk about life. We talk about what our next trip gonna be, where we going, or sports. Love Miami Hurricanes. We looking forward to the game this weekend. So
You Miami.
love Miami and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, love them. Love those two teams.
Well, Kelsey doesn't play for them anymore.
No, he was, to me, I think he arguably the best center to ever play. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah. Were you sad when he finally announced his retirement?
Yeah, because he brought so much value to that team, especially mentoring the
Very
younger linemen. He's just such a good hearted person. But he's still part of the team. He's still out there helping the younger linemen. But he
Oh,
was a phenomenal player.
I'm convinced he's just like you. He can't sit at home with all those kids and just sit on the porch. Like that's just not his personality. Um,
It's very difficult to sit at home. I can't sit at one spot.
well, and like him, I would imagine that it's taxing on the body, right? So even though the brain wants to continue, or the mind, the spirit wants to continue, the body is just like, we can't go another year.
No, age and father time is still undefeated. Last time I checked.
We should all hope.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I have two questions for you. Where can
Yes.
people find you online, and where can they find your books? So that's one question.
Okay, my books is everywhere. You can go to my website, www.alfonso, Alphonso, Williams, Williams.com. And you can see all the various platforms where my book is at. I have it. This third book is on audiobook, is on the platform, is in actually hardcover. I
Oh,
actually want to sign this and send it to you. Um, and so it's all on Amazon, so it's on every major outlet.
okay. Who did your audiobook? Did you record it or did you have a voice actor?
A voice actor? No way. I had a
Wow.
voice actor. So the first book, Chosen by Fate, is an audiobook as well, and the third one is an audiobook.
Excellent.
Yes,
And I mean, that's good because audiobooks for independent authors like ourselves, they're very expensive to produce and to put up. So we
they
definitely
are.
okay. So, my last question, if you could wave a wand, where will you be in 1 year from today? Your author journey, writing, etc.
I will be 1 year from today. My favorite place to go to, my safe haven, Montego Bay, Jamaica. I
Oh,
would be somewhere on the beach with a dope beverage in my hand and relaxing and looking at the beautiful water.
the endless ocean where it meets the horizon. Just
I'm telling you, that is my safe haven. I love the Caribbean. I love the water. I just love the atmosphere. I love the food. Yes.
you love everything about it.
Thinking of ideas for another book. Because my mind is always thinking, always just roaming what I can do. Okay, I like that. Because you can come across anything. You know what? I can add that to a story. I'm gonna remember that piece, or because I keep a recorder with me, and whenever I have something, I just speak into the recorder and I circle back and listen to it. And I'm always taking notes.
I love that. So you and the missus will be on a beach in Jamaica doing book research.
Well, I'd probably be doing that one. She'll probably be sipping her Cabernet, and Chris and Kim will be there with us. Actually, Chris and myself will be sipping on adult beverages, coming up with ideas, and
And the girls?
they'll probably be sipping on. They like to wander and walk. It's like you don't go on vacation to walk. My buddy Chris and I, we sit at one spot and just look, have some adult beverages, good food, and just enjoying the breeze. Like this is a vacation. And my wife and Kim, they just constantly want to walk and walk. Hey, come here. We're gonna go to this side. It's like that's work.
But you know what? It's perfect because you guys are like the compass, right? So we go running all around and then we're like, we know that we left y'all right here.
Exactly. And so we're very sociable. So Chris and I, we're very sociable. So we talking to everybody. And so once they return, everybody know their name and calling them by Kim and Tate, calling them by first name and telling them stories. Yes,
You're like, we're locals now. You didn't
we
even
are.
you didn't even
I
know we came back, we're locals.
I love conversation and talking to people because you never know. You always learn something, right? Talking to people, that's how you learn. And so I just love I'm a people's person. I love interacting with people.
Well, this has been an absolute delightful hour to talk with you.
Yes, thank you so much. I really enjoy and appreciate the opportunity. I want to get you this book. I'm gonna send you all three of them signed and send them out to you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
You guys, Alphonso Williams and he Jr. and he is a crime fiction author. So you guys go check him out.
I appreciate it. Thank you and take care now.
And one thing, when you get that nonfiction book out, I want you right back on here. We're going to talk nonfiction.
Let's do it. It's a date. I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Alfonso.
Thank you and take care.
Ciao.